Great sporting drama from the football pitch. The action's never dull on ESPN Classic.
In the 1971 FA Cup, Manchester City faced holders Chelsea in a fourth-round battle at Stamford Bridge. With informed City striker Colin Bell at the top of his game, everything was set for a City classic. Brian Moore was the match commentator.
Now Oakes. Bell. And Cook for Chelsea. Fighting hard, Charlie Cook, both in attack and in defence, and a little bit in midfield as well. Now Houseman. And Hutchinson. Heslop, stopped by Hutchinson. Weller, trying to play it first time for Osgood. Now Chelsea coming forward, but there are plenty of City defenders back as well. Osgood taking one of them out of the game anyhow. Trying to make his way through. Oh, good work by Osgood. And a fine save at the end of it by Corrigan. Now Bell. Bell sent sprawling there by Harris, and claiming that to the referee that it was after the ball had gone. But referee Ken Burns saying go on, and so that's what Webb is doing. Finding Houseman. Stamford Bridge finding its voice again after that burst from Osgood. Hutchinson to Houseman. Osgood there in the centre, looking for it with his head. Chelsea in the last 90 seconds or so looking as good as they've looked in the whole of the afternoon. Now with this very damp crowd getting hard behind them. Bell. Just a little disjointed at the moment, Manchester City. Here's Harris. Osgood. Turned inside for Hollins, coming up fast, and Hollins will not be shaken off that ball. Hollins with his shot, straight into the arms of Corrigan. Hinton winning that one well in the air from Bell. Hutchinson fighting hard, but the ball cannoning off man for Oakes. Well, a misunderstanding there between Neil Young and Jeffries, and so it's Cook to Houseman. Shadowed by Doyle. He's going to take some shaking off. Houseman's throw. Osgood. Heslop snapping away at him all the time. All good play by Osgood to find Harris. Back to Osgood again. And now for Houseman with time to cross one. Hutchinson at the far side. Well, he had it in two minds there, whether to nod for goal, whether to nod back to a teammate. And it might be easy to make the decisions up here, but it looked as though it may have been the wrong one that he took. A free kick rather to Manchester City. Arthur Mann to take it, and Manchester City under pressure in the last 5 minutes as they've not been for the whole of the afternoon. Mann then with the kick. The rain coming down hard still. Oh, and here's Bell with a chance. Colin Bell, and he scored. Colin Bell. A chance out of nothing after City have been under such tremendous pressure. Colin Bell, who sneaked in there so fast and kept his head and finally planted it wide of Bonetti. And it was Colin Bell who scored in a 1-1 draw here earlier this season in the league. Well, Chelsea's cup history, of course, has been dotted with tremendous recoveries, and now it looks as though they'll need to have another one on their hands. There's Hutchinson going in hard. Well, it's a corner to Chelsea. Well, Malcolm Allison there on the right of your picture with Albert Alexander, the chairman of Manchester City, on his right. On the left of our picture, must be well pleased. Here's the corner. Curling under that crossbar. But the shade from Chelsea's point of view, the wrong side of it. Bell, this masterful all-rounder. What an example of how to keep your head when the chance comes. And Bell off again. But this time stopped by Webb. But there's Young, the elegant player, lurking on the far side. Hinton to Bell! Oh, Bell has done it again! As Hinton left it, Bell was in there. Marvin Hinton let that ball go across the goal. And in a space of a minute, Manchester City, there's Marvin Hinton shaking his head, a sad and sorry figure. And as he waited, Bell pounced. And Manchester City, in the space of a minute, have put themselves almost, I would think, beyond the reach of Chelsea. Hutchinson. And now Oakes. As Chelsea comes striding forward, there's a few gaps at the back there, and here's Oakes with a long run, and Young now. Oh, and Webb going in with no nonsense whatsoever on Neil Young. And the referee calling him to him. Look of determination all over David Webb's face, and perhaps a little too determined in that challenge. And certainly Ken Burns was very quickly on the spot, giving a sharp word where it was required, and the free kick to Manchester City. Neil Young with it. Webb to get it away. Oakes now to drive it. Oh, and a good save by Bonetti. Fierce shot there by Oakes, and beautifully timed by Bonetti with the rain in his face, finding just the moment to make contact with the ball, to flick it over that bar. So it's City's corner. Neil Young. Under that crossbar again, Bonetti getting his fist to it, Collins failing to get his head to it, and Weller finally getting a boot to it. Ballboy then giving it to Alan Oakes. Webb hacking away there at Bowyer, and the referee in fact telling David Webb, I saw the way that you were kicking rather furiously at the ball, and it seemed almost at the player as well, but he's taken no action. But he certainly let David Webb know that he was watching him. Here's Young. Jeffries, overhead again. Webb getting it away, not very far. Houseman going in the nick of time as Doyle and Oakes came in front. Now Hinton. Wide for Weller. Oh, and Weller's gone past man now. He's got Hutchinson up with him and Osgood as well. That's aimed towards Hutchinson and Osgood, but in fact finding only Tony Book. Noticeable too how quick the Chelsea burst was, but how much quicker the Manchester City recovery was. There were about 5 men back in that penalty area in no time at all. Oakes nodded on nicely there for Young. Playing some nice stuff now, Manchester City. Jeffries. Book. Doyle. Book again. A little chip there, and Young to flick it on. Hinton to get in there first. Now it's Houseman to Hollins. Houseman away again. And And Hutchinson's made that burst towards the near post that he makes so often. But it was really an impossible situation for Hutchinson. It wasn't to his head which he wanted. Hinton nodding that one away for Hollins. Hutchinson laying it off for Cook. Now Cook, will he take on Heslop? Leaving it for Houseman. Osgood lurking again. Linesman flagging on the far side for offside against Osgood. But the referee say play on. Houseman again, another little chip. And Corrigan looking so massive in that goal. I'm sure he does to the Chelsea forwards as well. Ron Harris to Marvin Hinton. And Heslop once more there, and Doyle claiming that the ball came off Houseman as it went between his legs, and the referee agrees. This fellow's looked a giant in the middle of the field this afternoon for Manchester City as well, Mike Doyle. Bowyer finding Young. And now Oakes. Doyle. And now Neil Young. And man to Oakes. Doyle. This must be about 9-10 passes at least that City have made without Chelsea touching it, and it's Jeffries trying to get himself into shooting position, finding Doyle. This must be up to 13 passes now as Bell, still Bell, and getting a shot in, and my goodness, there's Jeffries cannoning about there, Jeffries again, and Bowyer, and it's given. And it's Bowyer who's made it 3-0. With a quarter of an hour to go. And that really was frenzy at its fiercest in that goal area. As Bell put in the first shot that counted. And then there was all sorts of scrimmaging around there until it finally ran loose for Ian Bowyer to put Manchester City 3-0 into the lead. Now Hollins. Hutchinson looking for Osgood, flicking on now for Houseman to turn it across again. Oh, and Hutchinson couldn't have been more than 6 inches away from pulling one back straight away for Chelsea. Well, the Chelsea fans going home there, some of them, with a quarter of an hour still to go. Well, nobody happier here this afternoon than the fellas in the front row there, Malcolm Allison, Joe Mercer and Albert Alexander, the Manchester City chairman. Boyle and Chelsea's throw. All this without Francis Lee, would you believe it? There he is, Francis Lee, still obviously playing a very active part in that dugout. Hollins then to take the throw for Chelsea, and Peter Osgood has gone off up the tunnel. Now going up the tunnel now, there he goes, which can only mean that John Dempsey is on. A substitute now on for Chelsea, which won't do anything for Chelsea's striking power for sure, with a defender now on. It's John Dempsey. Hutchinson's gone roaring forward again, but it's Houseman down the left. Played first time towards Hutchinson, and now with Webb right up there. Can Webb force it home? No, he can't, but he wasn't so far away from doing it. Hollins. Shaken off the ball, Hollins. Quite a tough battle there with Alan Oakes, but it seemed to me shoulder to shoulder, but the referee obviously thought otherwise, and he's given the free kick to Chelsea. Hutchinson wanting it quite clearly high in the air, and maybe Boyle will give it to him. Dempsey right up there as well. And in fact, just pushed past that post once more by Ian Hutchinson. Still these odd chances coming Chelsea's way, and I suppose even a goal would give it an air of respectability. Chelsea, the holders, are out of the cup, and for my money, if they can keep this form up through the succeeding rounds, it's going to take a very good side to beat Manchester City as we go through towards Wembley this season. Colin Bell, scorer of 2 of those Manchester City goals in the second half, and Ian Bowyer, of course, who got the other one, but it was Bell who put that first shot in, and Bowyer, the number 10, who finally finished it off to make it 3-0 then to Manchester City. So the final score at Stamford Bridge, and a shock for all Chelsea fans, of course, is Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3.